In the silence of the night, if someone knocked on your door every 44 minutes and then disappeared into silence, you would be startled once. But if that same knock was not coming from Earth, but from the depths of space, then it would no longer remain just a surprise. It would become a question so strange that even science still does not have a complete answer to it. In 2025, scientists announced a strange cosmic object, one that sends out a signal every 44 minutes and then goes silent. Then the same signal again, then the same silence, and then the same return. This is not a movie story. This is a real astronomical mystery.
Welcome to MythXray.
In today's video, we are going to talk about a space mystery, one that is not only strange, but has also become a serious challenge for modern astronomy. The name of this object is ASKAP J1832-0911. The name may sound technical, but the story behind it is astonishing. In 2025, scientists told the world that they had observed an object that pulses in radio waves every 44 minutes, and even more surprisingly, it is not only producing radio signals, it is also appearing in X-rays with the same rhythm. This was the first time that an X-ray signal had been detected from this kind of long-period radio transient. Now, the question is, why is this such a big deal? Because we have seen blinking objects in space before, for example, pulsars, which are rapidly spinning neutron stars. They also send repeating signals, but their signals are extremely fast, sometimes several times in a single second. But ASKAP J1832-0911 is not like that. This object shows a very slow pattern, one signal every 44 minutes, which means a periodic behavior thousands of times slower than normal pulsars, and that is exactly what makes it different from ordinary known objects. For scientists, the biggest confusion is this. If it is not a pulsar, then what is it? Could it be an unusual neutron star? Could it be a magnetar? Could it be a white dwarf? Or is it something from a category that we still do not fully understand? The research team explored several possibilities. They looked at neutron star models, white dwarf possibilities, and even scenarios involving a companion star. But the problem is, so far, no single explanation can fully account for all of the object's behavior. And this is the point where a scientific discovery turns into a mystery. Because mystery is not always something supernatural. Sometimes a mystery is something real, something measured, something recorded, and yet still not fully understood. That is exactly what is happening with ASKAP J1832-0911. Astronomers observed that this object not only emits a signal every 44 minutes, but over a period of 6 months, its radio and X-ray brightness also changed dramatically. So this is not just a regular blinking source, it is also changing its behavior over time, and that makes it even more puzzling. Now, here is another interesting detail. In the sky, this object appears close to a supernova remnant, which means it is near a region where a star once exploded violently. At first, it might seem possible that this object is a neutron star created by that same supernova explosion. But according to researchers, this closeness may only be apparent, meaning the two may not actually be physically related at all. And if that is true, then the mystery becomes even deeper. Now, at this point, an ordinary viewer may ask, could this be aliens? And this is exactly the moment where sensation and reality separate from each other. So far, there is no evidence that this signal is coming from an intelligent civilization. Scientists believe it is an astrophysical object, which means a natural cosmic source. But the problem is, that source does not fit neatly into the usual categories. So the truth is not that aliens are confirmed, and the truth is also not that this is just some ordinary star. The real truth stands somewhere in between. A real object, a measured signal, a repeating pattern, and a behavior that we still do not fully understand. And that is the most fascinating form of true mystery.
You may have noticed that whenever people hear the word mystery, they usually move toward two extremes. Either they immediately say, this must be extraterrestrial intelligence, or they say, there is nothing special here. Science already knows everything. But the beauty of science is exactly this. It does not make instant claims about everything. It observes, it measures, it compares, and when it does not have the answer, it clearly says, we do not know yet. That is exactly what is happening in the case of ASKAP J1832-0911. Scientists observed the object, measured its signals, noted its timing pattern, recorded its behavior in both X-ray and radio wavelengths, and then admitted that it does not fully match the known models. There is another important thing to understand here. The class this object belongs to, known as long-period radio transients, is itself a relatively new class. This category came into major focus in 2022, which means we are standing in a field of science where the questions are still greater than the answers. And that is why when this object was announced in 2025, the astronomy community did not see it as just another discovery. They saw it as a clue that may tell us that there are objects in the universe for which we do not yet even have a complete language. Do not just think about it, feel it. 15,000 light-years away, somewhere inside the Milky Way, there is an object quietly reminding us every 44 minutes that the universe has not yet been fully read.
Its pages are still unfinished. Its secrets are still waiting. And perhaps what we have read so far is only the introduction, not the whole book. Now the question is, what happens next? What happens next is that astronomers will continue observing it. They will gather more data from more telescopes, they will test more models, and perhaps in the future they will be able to decide whether this object is truly a magnetar, a white dwarf, or part of an entirely new subcategory. But as of today, we do not have a clean answer, and that is the real point of this video. Not every mystery means fantasy, and not every unexplained thing means aliens. Sometimes, a mystery is simply this. The universe has revealed a new behavior, and humanity is still searching for the vocabulary to describe it. That is what ASKAP J1832-0911 teaches us. That despite the most advanced telescopes, despite modern observatories, and despite decades of astronomy, there are still things in the universe that force us to stop and say, we have seen something, but we still do not fully know what we have seen. And perhaps that feeling is the true mark of a real mystery. No noise, no exaggeration, no artificial sensation, just a real signal, arriving every 44 minutes, reminding humanity that there is still so much above us that remains beyond our understanding. Scientists announced it in 2025, and since then, this object has earned a special place among modern space mysteries, because once again, it forces us to ask that old but powerful question: is the universe really as simple as we think it is? Or has the real story only just begun? If you enjoy real mysteries like this, where there are facts, science, and unanswered questions, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me in the comments, what do you think this object could be? An unusual magnetar, a strange white dwarf, or the first sign of an entirely new category in the universe? This is MythXray, where we do not chase noise, we uncover the secrets hidden inside reality.
Goodbye.